Remember, you deserve love and support. You deserve to be accepted with open arms, care, and love.
Coming out just isn't a one moment thing. It's something that happens over a long period of time.
Absolutely.
So if I could tell my younger self one thing, it would just to have patience.
Welcome to TrevorTalks, where we dive into some of the biggest questions and issues facing LGBTQ young people. Today's topic, coming out safely. So we talk about coming out being this liberating experience, but I feel like we have to acknowledge we're not always in the position to come out yet. And I think that's so important to touch on, is it doesn't have to happen right away.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to happen, to your family, to where you're staying, your friends. Sometimes we don't always have that safe space. So it took me probably about 6 good years to really admit it to myself. And that was where I started first.
Okay.
And I think acknowledging that is a very important part of the coming out process. So, take your time in coming out. Some people say they came out when they were in middle school and they knew since elementary. And some of us don't know until our 40s, our 50s, and that's okay too. So I feel like acknowledging that everybody's timeline is different is also an important piece.
Definitely. I feel that 100%. For me, it took me so long to come out because I was raised in such a religious environment. And I just remember just like crying at the altar in church, like Sunday saying like, God, like, take this burden away from me because, it wasn't safe for me to come out in that environment. I think coming out is finding people who you can come out to, because to say that everybody deserves to know your story or everybody can hear your story is not realistic for everybody across the world. I think what's more realistic is finding people who will hold that space for you.
Yeah. I'm sorry, friend.
Yeah.
I hate that you had to go through that.
Yeah.
But I'm so proud of who you've become today. Not everybody has the perfect coming out story, but it takes time and it's different for everybody. So what do you wish you knew before coming out?
What did I wish I knew? I wish that I knew it would be a lifelong journey. Coming out just isn't a one moment thing. It's something that happens over a long period of time.
Absolutely.
So if I could tell my younger self one thing, it would just to have patience, be slow with it, allow life to take its course a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's something I also wish I told my younger self is, if you're questioning, there's a reason you are.
Yeah.
And that's something that you can acknowledge and you don't have to run from it. So kind of just taking my time and growing within myself and my own mind, that was something that I really wish I knew wasn't gonna be an overnight decision.
I think a lot of times people put all this emphasis on coming out the closet, but what happens after you come out the closet?
Right.
Because after I came out the closet, I was just like, okay, like I'm gay now, I'm queer now, I didn't know what words to use.
Yeah.
The first thing I did was look up gay music on Spotify, because I was like, I gotta learn every Britney Spears song, every Lady Gaga song.
Yeah.
I thought I had to like dress a certain way.
Yeah.
Queer and gay looks different for everybody.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I was just gonna say, something I wish I knew was that queerness does not look like one thing. It does not look like one person. It doesn't fit a standard.
And when you were coming out, like, how did you decide what label to use? Or like, what did you come out as, if you don't mind sharing? Like,
it's so funny because I came out as bisexual first, my first label.
Yeah.
And I was dating a girl for a minute, and they decided to shave their head and change their pronouns and said, call me they, them. And I was like, I still like it here. It's about the emotional connection for me.
Yeah.
So and I just put myself in this category of fluid, because sexuality is such a spectrum. It's such a fluid experience. And I feel like, if I put myself in this label, it could change.
Okay.
So as of right now, I classify as, identify as fluid.
I feel proud coming out to people and saying, I am a queer male, a queer Black male as that.
Yes.
It's powerful.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that.
Of course,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Coming out to yourself or someone else is an incredibly personal decision. But the truth is, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Coming out is totally your choice.
If you're thinking about starting that process, here are some things to think about. Questioning is an important part of the process. Get to know yourself, ask yourself questions. Don't put pressure on yourself to identify one way forever.
When and if you're ready to share your identity with others, start with folks who are safe. If you hear people say positive things about the LGBTQ community, they might be a safe person to come out to. Oftentimes, allies will use signs and decorations like the pride flag to signal to others that, hey, I'm a safe person you can turn to.
Always consider your emotional and physical well-being. If you're afraid you may be harmed for coming out, it may be a good idea to hold off until you can ensure your safety or prepare for how you might protect yourself.
Always have a safety plan in place. Consider preparing a backup plan for housing, food, school, and transportation, just in case things are feeling unsafe.
Anticipate the range of responses you might hear. Think ahead of some of the good responses and anticipate a bad response as well.
Consider how you might want to come out. There are lots of different ways to do it, like calling someone on the phone, sending them a text message, email, letter, or talking in person.
Coming out doesn't have to happen just once. You might find yourself coming out to different people at different times, sometimes every day and in a variety of ways. There may be certain people in our lives that we want to share this information with and others that we don't. That is more than okay.
And if people don't react the way we want, your identity is still valid. Unfortunately, coming out doesn't go according to plans all the time, but other people's reaction don't define you. You define you.
Remember, you deserve love and support. You deserve to be accepted with open arms, care, and love.
If and when you come out is totally your choice and should always be on your terms.
The same should be true if someone is coming out to you. Make sure they can do it in their own way.
There is no one way to come out, but if you do, make sure you're protecting yourself and make sure you're doing it safely.
If you need support coming out, even just to yourself, the Trevor Project has your back. The Trevor Project is always here for you 24/7 at thetrevorproject.org.
Thanks for watching. Check out other videos in our Trevor Talks series, click the link for more content, or subscribe to our channel for even more resources.